You feel like wealth is a mountain. You climb in the dark, hands numb, feet unsure, every step a guess. Then you hear a strange truth. After you hit 100,000, the climb starts to tilt in your favor. Not because you changed, but because the game does. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are early. Right now you are pushing a boulder alone. Every bill, every interest charge, every late fee pulls downhill. When you cross 100,000 in invested assets, momentum flips. Money begins to nudge the boulder with you. The same effort that once moved you inches begins to move you yards. This is educational, not financial advice. Manage your own risk. You already know the problem. Saving feels slow. Investing seems like watching paint dry while your friends post trips and toys. Inflation eats, fees nibble. Your focus phrase. You start, stop, then start again. It is exhausting because each dollar you save is a single worker. Before 100,000, you manage a tiny crew. After, you manage a team that shows up early and stays late. Harry remembers that grind. He worked a low salary at a warehouse, eating microwaved noodles and counting bus transfers. He scraped to his first 10,000, then stalled. The boredom felt unfair. The temptation to enjoy life tugged daily. Harry did not beat the system with luck. He changed how he used it. He engineered simple habits, fixed the leaks, raised income in small steps, and stacked boring wins until the boulder moved by itself. When he crossed 100,000, he looked up and realized, you deserve the same turn. Here is why it gets easier and how you can make the flip faster. First, compounding stops being background noise. At a 5% real return, 5,000 on 100,000 quietly becomes 5,000 more in a year. That is a month or two of take-home pay, arriving without clocking in. Before 100,000, compounding throws you coffee money. After, it buys you months of time. Time is the real luxury. You earn hours back while you sleep. Second, your habits start paying dividends in clusters. The routine that used to save you a few dollars now protects hundreds. The automatic transfer that once felt like a sacrifice turns into a shield you never notice. You do not get stronger every week. Your systems do. Third, opportunity knocks louder when you have cash, skills, and a network. With a small cushion, you can take a course, buy tools, or say yes to a better offer without fear. Options breed more options. The wealthy are not hoarding secrets. They are buying room to breathe and room to choose. Harry is not a guru. He is proof. He set a baseline budget that did not feel like punishment. He added a freelance shift on weekends, then learned one new skill each quarter. He moved to a cheaper room for a year and used the savings to max a match. He automated the boring, but stayed human with the fun. Each step connected back to his bigger mission. More. Time with people he loved. Every choice was a vote for future you. You still have to solve the friction between what you want now and what you want most. So you take a simple plan and make it yours. You build in wiggle room. You add a reset phrase for the days you want to quit. Harry's was, I do not skip twice. When a workout, a transfer, or a study block got missed, he did the next one. Not perfect, but relentless. Here is the plan that tilts the game sooner. You can start today with whatever you have. You define a 1-year target, 100,000 in invested assets, or 1 year closer to it. You write it where you see it often. You assign roles to your dollars. Some defend, some attack, some grow. Defense first. You erase high-interest debt so your crew is not working for someone else. Attack next. You add income the boring way. One small skills ladder, one negotiation, one freelance client, one weekend shift. Growth always. You automate contributions on payday, split between a broad market fund and a simple bond fund or cash buffer that fits your risk and your timeline. Harry ties each step back to you. He would tell you to make the first automatic transfer so small it feels laughable, then nudge it every 2 paychecks. He would tell you to batch temptations. 1 guilt-free treat day a week, 1 spontaneous spend bucket a month. He would point to your calendar and ask where your hour of skill building lives. He would not shame you. He would sit next to you on a bus and whisper that progress loves quiet. You will feel resistance. You will meet days where your budget leaks or your car explodes. When that happens, you lean on shock absorbers. You keep 3 moves ready. First, you lower variable spending by a tiny preset amount for 4 weeks. Second, you pause guilt and journal the setback as data, not drama. Third, you use the reset phrase and restart the next block. The point is not to be perfect. The point is to stay in motion. Your first major milestone is not a car, a vacation, or a watch. It is crossing that 100,000 mark in invested assets. Not in cash under a mattress, not in collectibles that swing with hype, but in broadly diversified, low-cost funds that do not beg for attention. You track net worth monthly, not daily. You let boredom compound. Halfway there, you will notice a strange calm. A small dividend will arrive and you will shrug. A down month will sting and you will hold. A coworker will panic sell and you will sip water. That is your new identity clicking in. You are the person who saves automatically, invests simply, and lets your crew work without micromanagement. Harry says the ease is not magic, it is layers. He layered routines, people, and tools. He asked for a raise with receipts. He scheduled a bi-weekly money date. He kept a coffee mug with the words, "Make it easy to be me." He made his future identity obvious at home. Shoes by the door for morning walks, a visible notebook for side hustle ideas, a sticky note on his laptop with 3 lines, protect, produce, purchase later. You can make speed by removing weight. You cancel the things you would not buy again at full price. You sell the gear that holds you in old hobbies you stopped enjoying. You unfollow the accounts that tell you to trade identity for dopamine. You replace those with voices that respect patience. Douglas, probability mindset. Steenbarger, self-coaching. Schwager, survival first. You're not trying to beat everyone. You're trying to outlast your old self. Now here is the moment that tightens the grip. Imagine you're invested 100,000, earning an average market year. You wake up to gains that match months of work. You look at your calendar and realize your money just covered your rent. That sensation is not greed, it is relief. You will be less reactive at work, kinder at home, and more selective with friends. Ease at this stage is emotional before it is financial. You are allowed to enjoy that. Engage here only if it helps you hold the line. If this is lowering your pulse, say your reset phrase out loud so you do not forget it. Do not worship numbers though. You protect the downside. You build insurance. You keep your emergency fund alive. You set a rule that you never use margin and you never put money into something you do not understand. Risk is personal. Your friend's risk is not your risk. Your timeline is not their timeline. As you cross the line, you keep your world small. You do not overhaul the plan. You top up tax-advantaged accounts. You widen the moat with simple moves, an extra skill, an extra client, an extra buffer. You take optionality seriously. Optionality is the gap between what life asks and what you can answer with a smile. Harry will still be there in your mind when you hesitate. He will remind you of the bus, the noodles, the cold mornings. He will remind you that when he passed 100,000, he did not buy a new identity. He kept the one that got him there. He kept eating at home, reading during lunch, and saying no to drama. He did not get smarter. He got steadier. You too will get steadier. Your baseline will rise. The same way a runner's easy pace improves, your financial easy pace improves. Small raises now move bigger numbers. Small markets now swing larger balances, yet your emotions swing less. That is the paradox. Money multiplies, drama divides. You choose multiplication. There is one trap left. Comfort can turn into drift. You avoid drift by setting the next simple mission. Fund a sabbatical. Buy back a day of work each week. Seed a business you actually like. Purpose pulls harder than willpower. Your future self will look back at this exact season and whisper, "Thank you." The day you chose routine over mood. The hour you learned instead of scrolled. The moment you did the next right thing. After a mistake, those choices compound faster than money. If you want a single move to start tonight, do this. Open your accounts, set the smallest automatic transfer you will not cancel. Schedule 1 hour this week to learn a marketable skill and place your reset phrase where your future self will see it. That is enough to shift the slope. Here is what the next seasons can look like when you keep stacking. In the first 90 days, you will mainly be cleaning the deck. You track spending without judgment, close the obvious leaks, and build a tiny buffer so surprises do not wreck you. By 6 months, you feel lighter because bills are organised and income is a bit higher. By the end of year 1, your systems carry most of the weight and your identity catches up. The second year is where momentum blooms. You stop explaining your choices and you simply live them, which frees more energy for better work and kinder relationships. Harry stays, steady, reminding you the slope is yours. If this helped and you want the next step, type your reset phrase in the comments, subscribe so we can build the layers together, and meet Harry and me in the next episode where we walk you through the exact 1-hour skill ladder you can climb this month.